Going for another episode. Hello and welcome to all my dearest friends and closest friends. I'm Envira Boy. I'm playing Blueprints, and presumably you're here to watch that. We left off on the last episode with a letter that we didn't read from Mr. Ruda. Mrs. Babbage has told me that you will be overseeing network maintenance over the next few weeks while I will be gone, and I apologize in advance for the extra workload. I believe I will be back in Reddington by the middle of February, but even that is not a certainty. Either way, I do not anticipate there will be any major issues while I am gone, as the difficulties we were having last month with the terminal connections seem to be resolved. If there is an emergency and you find yourself having to enter the central server site, I have set you up with a temporary admin key to allow you access to the network administrator controls. Admin key, first four letters of your last name. This is 1,000,000% something that ought to be written down, and so I will grab a pencil on my note page and write it down and figure out what this means for us. The first four letters of your last name, followed by first initial. The first and fifth character should be capitalized. If you have any questions, please let me know in the next few days of my departure. I know Kitty is meowing and making noise. She's with us and very demanding right now. But the admin key is gonna be in some way, shape, or form. First four letters of your last name followed by first initial. So R-U-O-T, and then whatever the first name is, which I don't believe we have. So hold on, the way this is written down makes it unclear exactly what some of those letters are, because my handwriting is R-U-O-T, and then we'll put an underline or an underscore there so we know to try and find the first four letters of your last name followed by first initial. So we need to figure out who Mr. Root is. The good news is we can probably just try and code break that one by going through the alphabet. It should be pretty easy, and you can start with the more common letters for a first name, and it'll be fine. So we'll continue on through the dark room now, and continue this run, which is presently still active. Don't see anything of particular value hiding in the darkness here, and we've seen all the pictures, so we can just kind of continue on. Probably best to do something without spending a gem. Although now the furnace is going to lead us to a dead end, so we'll have to... Luckily we have keys, and we have doors that need keys, and we don't have a shovel, but that's probably not going to be a huge deal. It probably won't... hopefully it won't inhibit us in any way, as the evil furnace from Home Alone continues to masquerade as just a normal furnace here. We're not an excitable child who's easily frightened by things. It's magical and yet mundane all at once. We loop around, we can continue on with the keys, we can go up to the other places, and we have more things to perhaps use in our workshop, and so that's kind of neat. As long as we follow the pathway and we're the right way to get back up there. And oh, we missed this. Fortunately, we have a sledgehammer. We need not waste anything and only gain resources. And what a happy accident that became. And get the free passageways through all of these. This Reddington. Greetings from Reddington, but no option to look at the other side, as though, you know, maybe that would give us a hint about the guy's name. Likely we would need to go to the library or something to find that. And if the name is Ruda, then maybe the last name should be Bega. What if we come in here, and is there something to be gained from if we log into network? Password, we do have the password for this one. The password was Swan Song. Swan Song. Password accepted. Connecting to the network, we go in. Perhaps the admin key will be used here. can see what the staff services remote terminal access data transfers not currently available. Glossary of terms, electronic mail. Currently, this feature currently from the office. Staff services. Special orders request schedule change. Punch in and out has been temporarily turned off. Staff announcements. As access network. Review assignments if you're okay. They're rooting for us for something. Not there. Special orders. Take a special order. Ain't no kitty. Sleeping mask, brass compass, magnifying glass, and metal detector. And return to the staff services, and think these will really do much for us. Turn to the network. Remote terminal, electronic data transfers, glossary of terms. So the admin password does nothing for us in here. It does nothing, nothing but grant us disappointment and general lost feelings of waywardness as we sit here and wonder what the crap is going on, that we can't get ourselves a break and find anything beneficial to us just for once, just for a change of pace. I mean, my God, it's just constant frustrations in life. Come to the workstation. Combine all these things to make the power hammer. We might as well assemble the power hammer and see what that does for us. It's unclear what the power hammer might do, other than perhaps just be a violent methodology of killing things. Stronger sledgehammer that can also knock down weaker brick walls. It's just great. I don't know, it's unclear which weaker brick walls we're supposed to be having here. But we can continue on by using a key. Seems like if it's capable of breaking down a weaker wall, then it should also be capable of, you know, breaking down a door or something, but that's fine. Go into the gymnasium, we'll lose 2, but we're running out of stuff anyway, so pretty much at the end of this run anyway, and we fortunately have a key card, so and we have now reached a dead end, and so the run shall come to an end, which is maddening in its own right, so we might as well call it a day. Fun, and more fun, we'll call it a day. We continue to make no progress after months and months of gameplay. The red villa with 5 red rooms, red rum, save and continue. All work and no play makes this house really just a big old pile of chaos and clues that seem like they are probably going to be important, but then still just don't really achieve anything for us. And makes one wonder what the crap is going on and what the crap are we supposed to do about any of this. It's all just chaos. And why can't I at least take a cane and walk around like a dapper gentleman, taking the cane and the hat? Every game's better when you can have costumes, especially when you don't have to pay to play for them or get loot boxes. If you could just find the stuff and just be a cool-looking dude walking around, and at least it gives us a bit of joy. But instead, no, we just got to keep going around here and hoping that just the pure luck gives us anything worthwhile. It's just like a sick, twisted facsimile of life where you just hope that the day decides that it's gonna be kind to you instead of giving you nothing but headaches and disappointment and the desire to defenestrate yourself and go flying out of a window, and just like maybe some act of God will catch you, and then at least you'll know that there's a purpose for it, because if there's a creature out there, an incorporeal being who can save you from flopping belly first onto the street, then maybe it's all for something, and there's a divine intervention gonna make sure that you can gain anything out of this life. I mean, my God, give us a sign here, man. We're all floundering as the world falls apart and burns around us. No one understands anything. I certainly don't understand anything, and it's just a nightmare and a mess. And please, I'm begging you. I'm begging Jesus to take the wheel or the keyboard or and mouse and turn this bad game of Sims we call life into something that has purpose. So we go in this room and we can find ourselves a gem. See where the next room will lead us to, and it'll be a calm affair as we're doing this. So we pull up from the nosedive and find ourselves facing just constant struggles here and go to the spare room and try to keep the run alive. Come in here and we're not allowed to take the tape gun, even though that seems like the kind of thing that would be fun and useful. Paint roller to make an interesting ability to change the color of a place, and well, here's our dead end. Find ourselves without anything here. Might as well go to the closet, see what that gives us, and come in here and have a gem and a coin purse that'll presumably give us like 8 billion coins or something. It's nothing. Can't take the hats or the umbrellas and make ourselves look like some semblance of a cool dude, and instead we'll just leave and go see what the yard has for us, and after that we can start a new run and be proud of the fact that we've just gained ourselves a record for probably the smallest house and the shortest run we've ever had in this game. It's fun stuff, and it definitely doesn't contribute to a feeling of futility and wondering why we're even playing this game anymore. And so we continue. Adds 5 classrooms to today's draft pool, which doesn't help us. Shelter. And the negative effects of the next 3 red rooms drafted, and each time you draft a dead end in your house, spread $5 in the tomb. Well, these are all useless to us and don't really accomplish anything for us. We haven't set up anything that would make this useful, and so we can just open up the shelter and see if there's anything hidden in here that we forgot about. We've already gained access to the safe. Look around here. Nothing. Grab a gem. A letter that we've already seen. From the Holly Bomb shelter. Time lock safe. Log into network. Radiation monitor. Log into the network. It's still just the swan song. Password accepted. It's just that. We look over there. Look up into the corner where we can see what looks like a Spotify playlist. You can wait a moment while I pull out my phone to see if any sort of something like that does come up if we were to. You know, aim Spotify at it and see if that does anything. There's a way to do that, presumably. See what's going on as the kitties behind me sit there and fight. One of them tackling the other as he just wishes to go to the bathroom and take a pee, as one does. They learned the most basic of all creature activities, which is to bother each other and make life super difficult for each other when going to the bathroom. Let me open this up and see if this will grant us any sort of access to anything. It does not appear to be a Spotify playlist, so what it means is honestly completely beyond me, unless it's looking at it, it's a strange, almost like that 3D effect, making me wonder if perhaps I'm supposed to look at it from a different angle if it means anything. But ultimately, there's nothing to be gained here. We'll just go ahead and call it a day and start a new one. Call it a day and we'll try fresh once again and see what happens to us. The humble bungalow, the hungalow, if you will. And I certainly will myself. That's what we do. Save and continue and try again. Let the ongoing nonsense that is this game rule our lives and see what we can accomplish here. Somehow we need to find a basement key and figure out how to do everything in here. There must be some semblance of purpose or reason about which rooms to select and everything. Corridors, reading nooks, bedrooms. Does it matter in the end? Probably not. Probably this will be another dead-end run for us as we just hope that maybe once something different happens to us and for us. Alack and alas. We'll set the drawing room. Can't set the drawing room. We'll set the hallway and come in here and grab ourselves a key and see what the rooms are as we speed run our way through this, because the monotony has become such that it makes one wonder what's even the purpose of it all. Can hear the impending breakdown crashing out of a man pushed to the limits and unable to understand why he's even here anymore. What's the purpose of it all? Was there ever a purpose of it all? Will there ever be a purpose to it all? These are the questions that one must ask and be prepared to receive no answer to, because they're rhetorical questions and only God can answer those, and we've already had our rant about whether God's real and what he can and can't do to demonstrate such reality to us, as we hope and pray that as the defenestration and inevitable falling to our inevitable deaths that we call the human life experience occurs, we can just enjoy the ride. And it would be nice if we could do that with any semblance of trust that God had a plan for us. As it stands, it feels as though God's plan for us is mostly just to watch us like ants on a hill, as we accomplish very little with the very little time we're given. We go to chapel and we can pray about it and beg for some sort of answer, some sort of clarity about the important questions in life, like who left these coins out here? Why are all these candles here? What's up with the chess piece? Is that part of the religion? What should I have for dinner tonight? The important questions that leave us wondering what even is life? Is it anything worthwhile, or is it just a play act of futile nothingness? Find the garage. Provides us all kinds of keys, just kind of a nice thing. Keys are always a helpful thing to have as the game progresses, if we're going to have any hope of finding things. And why it is that the closet can't, or the breaker room can't just maintain things so that, like, we even have any sort of, like, consistency. Like, it'd be nice if we could just, like, have done that once and have the garage door just stay open. Like, just stay open. Who's closing it and turning off all the power and stuff? Like, I'm working hard to do this, man. And you're just coming in here and you're just ruining everything for me constantly. These horrible housekeepers. Like, can't I just leave them a note? Like, I'm the owner of the place now, presumably. Can't I be the one who dictates how they operate? It's like, just let me have access to my own home. Seems pretty straightforward. The gems are in a box with a false statement. Only one statement is true. Only one statement is false. Well, one of those is false. Okay. Gems are in a box with a false statement. Only one statement is true. Only one statement is false. Okay, so if this one's true, gems are in a box with a false statement, then that would be, wait, hold on. Only one statement is false. If that's true, then one of these ones must be, only one statement is false. If that's true, then only one of these can be false. Box with a false statement. Only one statement is true. Well, so this one has to be false. Wait. Hold on. If this one's true, only one statement is false. Only one statement is true. That means that one necessarily has to be false. If only one statement is false, that would be true. And that one has to be false. Which means this one has to be true, which means the gems are in a box with a false statement. So if that's true, then it would have to be in this one. I think that makes sense, so we're just gonna do it. Seems logical enough. There we go. We get our free gems. There's one thing Grandpa wasn't good at doing. It was keeping me out of finding all of his gems and stuff, and that's, for us, that's a win in and of itself, because Grandpa was trying real hard to lock us out of all kinds of wealth and stuff, so at least he didn't lock us out of that one. Suck it, Grandpa. You gotta deal with the fact that I'm as smart as you. Your logic puzzles aren't good enough for me. The only way you can keep puzzles a secret from me is when you just flat out don't tell me how to solve them, like the stupid safe, which I guess that's probably actually a good thing. Safe shouldn't just be like if some dude looks around the room can gain access to the safe. I guess you're just following good security practices. But still, Grandpa, that's not the situation we're in. Just redraw the floor plans. These ones are all uninspired and unexciting. We can grab the nook, lavatory, which is just a worthless one, and we can have the commissary, which might be useful considering we have actual money this time. So we'll try that and see what happens if we come in here and see if we can gain anything of value here. And we can buy a gem, buy a sledgehammer instead of 4 gems or the running shoes. None of those are affordable or even all that useful to us right now, but we can go through the door, find the courtyard, which gives us access to a couple different places. Costs a gem, but it's not the worst thing. Try that and see what happens for us. Find the metal detector. Of course, we've reached the key card stage of things, which is just about as maddening as anything else. So we'll just have to accept the reality of that and see what rooms are provided for us here. We can have the bedroom or the nursery or the spare room. Perhaps we'll just this time do the spare room just to keep the things alive and go through here and see what this leads to. We can use a key. We might as well use a key. The kitchen, the pantry, or the observatory. We'll perhaps redraw. Just might as well use it. We have access to the pool, just to the dining room, which could be useful. Room and sauna and punt room. We can't do that though because we don't have a gem. So let's do the dining room because we're almost to the point where we'll get free food anyway. Metal detector's losing its mind as we get some free coins. Just nice, I guess, in its own right. We can use a key, see where we go. Grab the observatory again. Again, we can't. So the guest room it shall be. Go in here and see if anything useful is to be found. Got a compass. Which grants us draw floor plans leading north more frequently, which could be nice and helpful as we're trying to go someplace. And apparently there's still something to find in here. It's just magnificent, strange, and bizarre. There'd be so many things. Where's the thing? What am I missing? What's the thing? There's a coin. There's money just lying around. They just left it lying around. This is so clumsy and silly of them. But we can come here and we can go north and see. A secret passage leads to a room. Well, suppose it'll be the mail room. There's nothing else that we can do about that. And I guess so it shall be. Because we have no gems, which means mailroom is all that we have the option to do now. Order placed. Look, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we presumably can come back and get ourselves some food for the day. Come in here. Looking around here, this is one that's been read before. We can move on with our lives and see about anything else of value in here. Unlikely so. You know, the instructions of that, it's already been figured out. Something hidden in there. Don't recall if we've already read that or not, but frankly, it's kind of on a who cares basis at this point in time. If we go back, we can have ourselves a roast duck or whatever this is, a Cornish game hen. Stuffed wild quail, local Mount Holly delicacy, served atop a plum egg with roasted potatoes, bacon lardons, and wild chives. It's initial 10 if you have a trophy room in your house, which we don't, but we'll just do this and just assume we won't find it, because wouldn't that just be a stroke of luck? That isn't really what happens for us all that often. Can, mug, beer, cup, can, paint, can, beer mug, stein, can and mug. Mug, it's unclear what this one's supposed to be, although if I'm looking at my thing, presumably doesn't have can, ban, cup, mug, man, paint can, brush, lid. I don't know, and my brain's not figuring it out, so we can just kind of move on here and go back down to the courtyard perhaps and see if there's anything to be gained by going that direction. It's a shame we can't take the ladder and just climb over everything. Oh, that's right, this is blocked, and so we must go all the way around and be thankful that we have the footsteps that we do. If we look in here, we can get ourselves the running shoes, which is probably something useful and wouldn't be too bad to have those, although it's worth spending all of our coins. It's hard to say. The sledgehammer may be more beneficial for that, especially if it turns into something, although perhaps what we do is we get ourselves gems. Perhaps we get a gem just for 3 coins, and if we find more coins we can always come back and maybe get the set of 4 gems. But if we have a gem, then perhaps we could finally, for a change, not be locked out of getting cool rooms and stuff like that, as this game's decided that it's going to go ahead and be a facsimile of the full capitalist experience. We're having the most money is the most meaningful thing, and and everything else, everyone else is worthless, and your only job at that point is to wish that you would have been born with money, like all of the rich people who were born with money, and you'd spend their days laughing at you for being poor, as though it were your fault. Come up here, grab ourselves a free gem. We can come in over here to these doorways and see. Finally get ourselves the pool and see what other rooms are unlocked for it, and it's kind of a nice thing. And if we come over here, nursery, library, and pantry. If we do the library, it connects, which should be a decent thing in and of its own. Perhaps if we do this, we can see about getting a library book to figure out if there's any sort of way to get stuff. If we do, maybe if we just get the pump book again in the future, we can read it and see what the name of the one guy with the clue that we had for the admin password. Rotunda requires 3 gems, which of course we don't have. Bookshop, which is a new room. I've never seen this one before. Drafting, you may spend gems to redraw floor plans. I mean, the study, that seems new too, but the bookshop seems fantastical and whimsical and mysterious, and maybe worth coming to check out and see what we can find here. Reddington Herald, a new clue sold out in hours. Should come as no surprise that the latest book from local author Marion Marigold is breaking literacy records and making headlines even in absentia. The release of her new book, A New Clue, comes only 14 months after the distressful report of the author's mysterious and unexplained disappearance. Her current publisher has issued a statement debunking the conspiracy theories surrounding the book's recent announcement, stating, "The writing of the book was completed and well into the editing stages many months before the disappearance." In addition, the publisher has revealed that all of the proceeds from the first edition sales of A New Clue will be going to Lasting Hope, a non-profit organization that aims to provide resources and intel in the investigation of missing persons. Still, the timing and conveniently mysterious title of Marigold's third book has left many cynics denouncing the book and her disappearance as a cheap publicity stunt. Detective Bon Margle, who many theorize may have been the inspiration for A New Clue, was quoted only stating that the book was unintentionally accurate. Regardless of their opinions, fans, pundits, and cynics alike were standing together, elbow to elbow in bookshop queues this morning, eager to get their hands on what may very likely be the last words ever published by the missing author. Fantastic history and clues abound. Mysteries assault our eyes and our brains as we try to make sense of what on earth is going on here. I mean, this is crazy. Everything's going insane. A New Clue, History of Orinda. We need 50 coins. This is nuts. Realm and Rune. 20 so many coins necessary to be able to just grant these access. Like, it's insane. This is a house. Why isn't it part of the library? Why can't we get these books in the library? This seems insane. It doesn't track, and it's frustrating and upsetting in every way imaginable. But we must accept this. We must deal with this, accepting it as the frustrating thing that it is. Get the reading nook and get a key. We can continue on from this pathway. Grab ourselves a coin. Inching our way up towards the 50 coin. 50 coin. 10 times the... Oh my god, so many coins. It's ridiculous. You can have another library. Multiple libraries in one room, in one house. Or we could just go with the pantry. Come in here and collect ourselves some money again. See what we can find. Maybe, just maybe, there's a chance that we could get ourselves some neat books or something. We have so many steps, we'll be able to get back. There's the boiler room. We don't have a gem again. Gosh darn it, it's so frustrating and maddening when we don't have the access to these things that we're so desperately in need of. Go to the gymnasium, lose 2 feet steps, that's fine. That's a manageable expenditure here. Laboratory does nothing. The dark room could continue things, and this room counts as 2 bedrooms going to the bunk room. But if we go to the dark room, then we could have a couple different potential access points. Really, it's just one access point. If we just had a way to go through there and gain access to that door. Doesn't seem as though that's gonna do much for us here. If we use a key, though, we can go to the north and have the music room, which is, I'm pretty sure that's a new one. With the walk-in closet, I'm pretty sure that's new too. We can't afford either of those, though. It's just the coat check, so. If we go to the coat check, we can see about saving items and see if there's a saved item that we have long since forgotten. Is there any item to retrieve? There is not an item to retrieve. We could check the compass, metal detector. Perhaps we could do the compass. We can have that later. Just a pure happenstance. Perhaps we think about coming back when we're done. We come in here, and then we come over here and open either room. It's just pure luck. Ah, crap! We got the stupid bathroom again. Oh no, this is disappointing and heartbreaking. This is getting us closer and closer to the end of this run, which I suppose with the timing makes sense. But if we go back down, we can just see about in the corridor and see if there's anything to gain from there. But for the most part, it seems as though this run has come to a fateful end, which is upsetting and disappointing and all kinds of bad things, especially when we have potentially something interesting to gain by getting these. Drafting Strategy Volume 4 and Volume 5. We could grab either of these and see if it says anything for us. And perhaps we go down this one corridor and see if we can find anything else. And if we can't, then we'll just go back to a disappointing life. We can see, is there anything to grab in here? Of course not. There's the net. Can't be used for anything but pool stuff. And it's a rope, which in theory could be used to hang ourselves, but alack and alas, it's not something that's allowed in this game, because it's not that type of game. Even if we sometimes wish it were that type of game, but that's okay. We can go through here, find what's in this room, find this. We could go to the study at least and see what's in here. This is another new room we've never been to before. We have another safe, another safe, perhaps a clue will lead us here. Ace Beard Bard. This seems to be matching the painting clue. I don't know if it's possible with so little time left, but I need to remember to ask Anne if we can commission new artwork for all the rooms of the house. We need them produced in sets of 2, a pair for each room. Honestly, I have no idea what I'm thinking. I'm likely delusional to think this can be pulled off by Thursday. Apparently something was pulled off, because it's now an impossibility that we have to just deal with this crap at all times. We can use the key. We might as well use the key on the trunk. See if there's anything of value here. Grab some of our coins, and we can now go and perhaps buy more books. This seems like it would be a critically important thing. The blueprints and everything. 44 letters in the message. 44 letters in the message, and we have more blueprints that won't provide us with any bit of information, but that just basically gives us the clue that we kind of already figured out with the paintings and everything. A safe. No date. No dates lettered on anything. deer in a window. Nothing dated. Everything disappointing. Unused pairings. Glove, love, sting, sing. 44 letters in the message. No dates. If we did December 1st, enter. Nothing. And it's impossible to know. And so we must live with our disappointment, accept the fact that this run has come to an end, except that we can probably go purchase the book. We're going to go purchase the book and see what we can find there. This makes for a long episode, but that's okay. Who cares? Going through the library. We go to the bookshop. We could purchase... Okay, so we can only purchase one of these two books. Perhaps we start with Volume 4. Does it end up in our inventory, or how do we... What happens when we purchase the book? It's not... What was the point of that? Can we come over here and find our book? Why did I purchase a book? Why did I purchase a book? Drafting Strategy Volume 4. What was the point? Why did I purchase the book? We sit here and these are the questions. These are the important questions that apparently have no meaningful importance. We purchased a book and it's not in our inventory. Don't have a book. Why did I purchase a book? What did I spend my money on if not to have access to my book? Perhaps it shows up later. We look at bookshop. Cozy little bookstore is tucked away in the more secluded corners of the state, giving guests a little opportunity to appreciate the curated selection of equally rare books it offers. Titles purchased in the bookshop will be automatically added to the library's book request form, which fittingly is the only room in which this rare floor plan can be drawn. So then we come down. So if it's been purchased, we can presumably come down here. It's supposed to be orderable. It's not here. And so, okay, so we'll just keep with our original plan there. And I guess that calls it a run. We'll just call it there. It is time. It's a long episode. So it's time for me to say thank you so much for joining. Love and appreciate every single one of you. Perhaps if you're going to leave anything in your will, as fun as games are, this type of thing is maddening and probably very frustrating for someone who is just hoping that their ancestors' evident wealth could just, help them get a leg up in today's world where like a house costs 10,000 times what it did 5 years ago, even though our pay is roughly the same. So just maybe consider that when you're making things cryptic and difficult. Maybe put a stopper on your own obsessions so that it's not so disappointing for your grandchildren. Because it just feels kind of rude. Okay, love you, bye. Oh my gosh, I'm getting ready to pull out a guide for this game, man. Like, it's getting... Just like, it feels like it just gets more and more cryptic every single time I try to play this game. It's insane. Might be time to graduate this one from a weekly revisit and instead have this be like an actual playthrough one. We'll see. I may do exactly that.